All right, here we go, people. So I came across this article today online that I just couldn't help but comment on it because it's basically talking about a lot of things that have been bothering me about video games lately, and in particular Ubisoft games, since I play a lot of them, and I've been thinking that this has been a funny issue with Ubisoft's games lately. So it's funny seeing this article because it's sort of it's taking the reverse stance of what many of the sort of progressive people would typically say about a video game. So the title of this article, which is this is on Vice News. I'll link to it or whatever, or you can find it yourself. It's funny. Wait, why are there so many black people in Far Cry 5? Now, as soon as I saw this, I was thinking like, yes, thank you. Not only that, but just the amount of other gender and race related people that are in abundance in this game. Which is basically the reason why this is because Ubisoft has bent over backwards to try to seem as diverse as possible, as the mainstream games media has sort of pushed this, like in all other media everywhere, Hollywood. Everything is all about this progressive bullshit all the time now. So this became a thing in video games a few years ago, 3-4 years ago, and it hasn't stopped. And so it's funny seeing this now and seeing how like how people that are progressive, like someone who writes for Vice News, like saying like, well, I mean, there shouldn't be that many black people, which typically they would be like, there's not enough black people in this game. That's what they typically do. So I'm just going to read some of this here because it's hilarious. So this is by the author of this article. Doesn't matter. People who write articles online these days, who cares about these people, honestly? Who gives a shit? So this guy's name is Dexter Thomas. After spending a few weeks with Far Cry 5, I've come to the regretful conclusion that there are way too many black people in this game. Record scratch. And then, it's not like I dislike black people, in fiction or real life. Full disclosure, I am black. Here we go. He's black. And now, before I read any more of this, I'm just going to say, one of the things I think that's kind of funny about this is that, like, I'm wondering if it's still not bent in that progressive leftist angle, where he doesn't like that there are so many black people in this game because there's black people in this, like, weird white religious cult up in Montana. So this game takes place in a fictional Montana. And so, like, what's funny about it to me is that, like, a lot of the stuff in this game, like, yes, in my opinion, when I'm playing through the game and I see so many black people, I'm like, why are there so many black people in this game? Like, look, I've never been to Montana. I don't know that much about it. So I'm not saying I'm an expert, but I would imagine that somewhere like Montana, like, there's probably not these diverse groups of people like there is in, San Francisco, New York, or wherever else. So it's funny that, and some problems I have with the game is, like, when I'm roaming around the environment, every hunter I come across in the environment, that's just, so they have these, like, basically these, like, hunters. They got the vests on and everything. They're kind of just roaming around the environment randomly. And you can come across them, and they're all women. And you can buy and sell stuff from them. There's some that are like fishermen, and they're always men, and they're like, you can find them by the riverbed and all this other stuff. So my main problem with the whole game has been this. It's like the only thing, and granted, this is what's funny, is it's like Far Cry is an over-the-top, ridiculous video game. Like, it's action, I'm jumping out of helicopters, parachuting, wingsuit gliding in, all this ridiculous stuff. I got fucking grenade launchers, rocket launchers, haha, I'm blowing up stuff, killing people, all this stuff. But it's funny that the one thing that takes me out of it is that like there's like there's too many women and black people in the game, and it's not like I care that they're there, but I'm just saying it just doesn't seem right. It's like it's so funny that like that's the thing to me that's like weird, and it's funny to see this reflected from someone else that's like typical like, I wish there were more black people in games. Oh, there's not enough black people in this game. This is like with what is it, the Deliverance game, Kingdom Come Deliverance, that game where like everyone was complaining, all these progressive people were complaining. It's like, oh, there's all white people in this game. It's just like it's a game that takes place, and it's just like yeah, this game takes place in the Czech Republic, Bohemia, in the, I think it's the 1400s, where there are probably no black people, but you know, we need the men there because we need to see it to be it. We need to see it to believe it. You know, we can't have, we can't see too many white people for too long before this is racist and all this shit. So, I mean, this is where we're at with video games now, and so these publishers, these game developers and all that stuff are trying to, like, they've bent over backwards and gone out of their way to try to include all races, all genders, all fucking all this and that, and to the point where it's not even believable. Like it makes it feel just more like a fucking made up world than it did before. And it's funny, you know, seeing this black guy be like, well, there's too many black people in this. And like I said, I think it might be because, you know, I think a lot of the progressive people, they really, really wanted Far Cry 5 to be Ubisoft shitting on fucking America, shitting on fucking white people, shitting on Trump voters, middle America, you know, guns, all this stuff, and it's just like that's not the game they made. And thank fucking God that they didn't make that game, because I mean, God forbid, like this is a video game, you know, we don't need any more like overly political things in our lives at this point in time. You know what I mean? It's just like everything is political now. Even video games are starting to become this way in a weird way. And it's just annoying. And it's just like, thank you, Ubisoft. Thank you to the developers who made this game for not fucking shitting on America, not fucking shitting on white people, not fucking going down that route, which would have been easy. You know, we kind of saw this last year with Wolfenstein 2, you know, where it was just like, I mean, obviously that game was like a same as this, a fictional over-the-top video game about killing Nazis and all this, and you know, and they did it, and this is like everyone loved that game. All the games journalists loved it because it was like, yeah, this supports our political agenda. Yeah, America's full of white racists and fuck them. Yeah, and it's just like, no, America is not filled with white racist people. And it's just, it's funny seeing like this like weird backlash. And granted, this is just one article, but it's funny seeing it. And so let's get a little bit farther into it here. So it's just that for a series that prides itself on realism, my experience of constantly bumping into assault rifle toting black people in the forests of Montana just seems unrealistic. Yeah, it does. It really does. So does seeing like every hunter I come across in the world being a woman. No. Not that I care, not that I hate women, not that I hate black people, but Jesus fucking Christ, like, can't we just make it believable? Far Cry 5's premise is that you're a local deputy sent to arrest the leader of a doomsday cult that has been taken over a fictional Hope County, Montana. But for some reason that's never explained in game, a large proportion of the cultists are black. It's just like, no. I mean, yes, in relation to the fact that if you were to be in that setting, and if this were to play out in modern day America, yeah, you probably wouldn't have any black people. I mean, I don't know any cults that have had a lot of black people. I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert on anything. All I'm saying is like, yeah, black people don't tend to start cults, so I get it. But like I said before, like I feel like that's kind of what they're trying to like. We shouldn't have black people in cults. That's a stupid white people thing. I mean, I don't know if that's what he's trying to say, but that's what it comes across as. And so that's why this whole thing is comical and hilarious. And also it's just like, but this is what you people want. You want to see yourself represented in everything. And it's just like, but that's not how the world is. That's not how history is. That's not how anything works. Your fucking beliefs, your fucking race, your gender, whatever, is not represented in everything everywhere. And that is stupid to try to force that. And that doesn't make it a better story when you force like, oh, we need more women in this storyline. If it's not a storyline where women will be involved, why do we need them in there? Like, it's just stupid. So, okay. According to the 2016 consensus, black people make up just over 0.5% of the population of Montana. There are only about 6,000 black people in the entire state. So, okay, so it says, does Far Cry expect me to believe that all of them moved up to Hope County? Yeah, no. And that's the thing. And this is a problem that Ubisoft's been doing for a while now with their games, where I've noticed it and it's bothered me, and I noticed in response to the fucking progressive ultra, we need diversity games media constantly being like, why aren't there women? Why aren't there black people? Blah, blah, blah. And they do it, and then you're like, well, this doesn't make sense. And this has been a case of, like, I was playing Watch Dogs 2 last year, and I just remember, I remember this very distinctly because it was the first time where I was like, man, this is so dumb. But I was playing that game, and I was doing a story mission, and you had to like infiltrate this Latino gang, this Latino street gang. Let me say that again, Latino street gang. You had to infiltrate their hideout, and I'm going in there, and I get in a shootout with them, and like 50% of the people I'm killing are like women, and I'm like, again, not an expert on Latino street gangs, but I'm pretty sure 50% of their membership isn't made up of fucking women. And this is how it is in all Ubisoft games now. And a lot of games overall, but specifically because I play a lot of Ubisoft games, I love them, and I've seen how it's changed. And this is what they do. It's just, they just spawn it, they just have random characters just generated in the world. It's like, I don't know, here's some other fucking ethnically ambiguous male. Here's some other, I don't know, is he fucking Indian female? It's just constantly just like, how this, like, they just constantly just put in male, female, 50%, and then the skin tone of all the characters are just on a fucking sliding scale. Like, who knows what this fucking person is half the time? I don't know. It's racially and sexually ambiguous, and that's better because we don't know what it is, and so you don't know what it is, and so diversity, and this is what happens. So when Ubisoft creates this Far Cry game where it takes place in the heartland of America, and most of the people aren't white, and that seems weird to you. Guess what? That's fucking weird. Okay? So why make it that way? And it's so dumb. And, I mean, it's funny seeing someone like I said, I think this person, he doesn't say it in this article, and I haven't read it all, and I don't know if I'm going to read every part of this, but I'm just making the point that, like, yes, you asked for this, and then when it's weird, when it's inconvenient for you, then, oh, no, I don't want that. That's fucking stupid, okay? Let's get back here. So, the developers have tried to explain this by saying that the cult that appears as the main enemy in the game has gotten everyone, regardless of color, to join. But that doesn't account for the fact that Even non-cultists are disproportionately black. You can go through the entire game without running into a Native American. At 6.6% of the state's population. Now, granted, this says that like that's even more than black people. According to this article, Native Americans represent a much larger community than black people, and inclusion of a prominent Native character or two probably would make it feel more like Montana. Yeah. But it's just like here, we get back into the leftist like, oh, some minor fucking group's not represented enough, but this one was represented too much. So it's just like you can't win with these people either way, and this just proves it. There's a million examples of this. So we get more into it here. The strained diversity of the cast may just be a sign that Ubisoft, like a lot of the game industry, is trying to make some occasionally awkward efforts at inclusion. Yes. Thank you. Okay? And it's just like, so now you people are seeing like, oh, wait, the crying about fucking diversity all the time is fucking stupid. Okay, great. In the past, the Far Cry series, which at over 40 million units sold is one of the most popular first-person shooter franchises, has generally involved traveling to an exotic land and shooting its exotic inhabitants. In Far Cry 3, for example, you play as a white man who fights his way out of a fictional South Pacific island. The story format that has led to a lot of gamers criticizing the series as being racist, and perhaps spurring the concern among some white gamers that Far Cry 5 would give white people the violent savage treatment. And so this is where all this stems from, right here. Because right around the time that Far Cry 3 came out, I remember this being a big thing. Like the whole white savior storyline where a fucking white man or whatever goes to an exotic location and goes somewhere else, and he's the savior. He saves the population because he's white. And people had a problem with that. And they've made a huge deal about it with Far Cry 3, with Far Cry 4. Even on the cover, they had this character called Pagan Min, where he had his hand on another, ambiguous indigenous person. And it was like, oh, this is colonial white people taking over. So it's just like, you can't please these people. They're always going to cry about something. And so, so people thought that like Far Cry 5, this is we're going to give white people what they deserve. That's what these people wanted. They wanted that to be the story in the setting because it takes place in America post-Trump election, and how all these people just like can't like cope with the fact that President Trump is, our president, and so they just want to like hate everything about America and white people. And this is the new cool thing, is to just hate white people. Alright, but then we come at it where, there's just like, he mentions, Far Cry 4, which I already touched on, and how the American interference caused the country to fall into chaos in the first place. Okay, whatever. So going back to Far Cry 5 in this article, he says, then there's direct jabs at American foreign policy, courtesy of Pirate Radio DJ, who jokes about then President Obama winning the Nobel Peace Prize despite ordering drone strikes like they're going out of style. After that level of sauciness, Far Cry 5 comes off about as spicy as an oatmeal sandwich. This guy's writing is terrible. But yeah, I mean, but from my experience playing Far Cry 5, they sort of poke a little bit of fun at the left, poke a little bit of fun at the right. Nothing too offensive. And like I said before, thank fucking God. Thank God. Why do we need our fucking political beliefs, our ideological beliefs to be fucking justified in a stupid video game? You know what I'm saying? Like, I love video games. I love this shit. This is my whole life. I love it. I fucking love it. I've always loved it. But like, man, and I love, I'm all about this political stuff because it's annoying more than anything. But like, man, like I don't need every game to be about something. And this just goes to prove. Well, I'm gonna read a little bit further here. So this will show you. This isn't to say that Far Cry 5 isn't fun. Yeah, it's fun as shit. It's fun. If you like Far Cry games, you like Ubisoft games, you know what you're getting into. This game is fun to me. It's fun as shit co-op. It is. He said it is. He said it's fun, guys. And the fact that Ubisoft is listening to and considering the criticism that have gotten them, or have gotten in the past, or they have gotten in the past, is worthy of some praise. But their effort to address the criticism just falls flat. Well, when you just want this blanket thing, and then on top of that, you think that, oh, well, we've pushed for diversity in games. We've made them put women as a playable character in all these games. There's women all the time, women's all the time, and then we have black people, Mexicans, trans, all this other stuff. When you do that all the time, and it's just like, oh, they put all that shit in the game, and then now it's just like, oh, we got all that, but sometimes it just falls flat. It's just like, yeah, when the point is not to tell a good story and it's just to put all this stupid bullshit in the fucking game, then yeah, it'll fall flat. And I'm not saying that like stories in video games were better before that or after. The medium has been growing up tremendously over the past 10 years. And it's a young thing. Video games are a weird thing. They're a weird thing. So, yes, they're getting better, storytelling-wise, and graphically, and every other way. So, forcing developers and publishers to like kowtow to like all these fucking social things just like puts a dampening on artistic endeavors. It makes people second guess their initial artistic, drive to just like, I'm gonna just do this. I'm gonna tell this story. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna have these characters, and I've envisioned the story and these characters in this way, and now I have to I guess I should make this character Asian, or I guess just tell the story you want to tell. Just make the art you want to make. Just do it and stop thinking about this. And when you force people to just think about this all the time, this is what you get. And now we're seeing them be like, oh, well, it's a little bit weird. Yeah, it's fucking weird because you made it weird. You fucking made it weird. Okay. Like I said, so Far Cry 5's ham-fisted appeal to diversity via dumping black characters onto the screen is not offensive per se. But it is. That's why you need to write an article about it. But it is symbolic of a deeper issue. Ubisoft's seemingly low estimation of the kind of America that gamers are willing to see. No, it's not. No, it's not at all. This is your bigotry of low expectations brought to life, and now you don't like it. That's what this is. And that's why it's dumb. In all of the press for this game, the Far Cry developers have stressed how much time they spent in Montana in order to make it authentic, and they did. I've listened to and read a lot of that stuff. So going fishing, looking at the landscape, having beer with the locals, all that stuff is pretty cool. Like roaming around in the woods and the landscape of Montana in this game, fucking cool. Feels so fucking great. But like I said, the stuff that takes me out of it is just like, oh, I come across this hill and there's like a fucking Asian woman hunter. Like, it's just like, no. Maybe I would come across that. But I know why it's in there. You know why it's in there. It's not in there because it's authentic. It's in there because you fucking wanted it. But anyone who has lived in America would recognize that the country that appears in Far Cry 5 as inauthentic. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Because this fucking beautiful utopia, this fucking coexist bumper tag world that you people want to live in doesn't exist. I mean, it does. It kind of does exist. It's America, but I mean, you know, we don't all get along, and there's not everything represented everywhere all the time, everywhere you go. You know, and that's America too. That's America just as much as diversity. The melting pot of the world is America. There's parts of America that are just a bunch of fucking white people. There's a bunch of parts of America that are to this and that. Who fucking cares? Why does it matter? Why does any of this shit fucking matter? I don't know, because you made it matter. And this is what fucking drives me insane. It's disappointing that realism in this video game was not limited by graphical limitations, yeah, or by writing. Writing talent. Well, I don't know about the writing in this game. But by timidness. By timidness. Yeah. Yeah. These people are timid because you people, the game's media, the people that won't shut the fuck up about the stupid bullshit, won't stop talking about it. And won't stop putting pressure and stop criticizing them for not doing this. And then when they do it, it's too much. Too much for you. Fuck this shit. I'm out.